London West.
Thank you, Speaker. It's a great pleasure for me to rise in this House on behalf of the people I represent in London West to join the debate on Bill C-31, the Making Ontario's Roads Safer Act. So this is a very comprehensive bill that brings together two previous pieces of legislation that were introduced in the last Parliament but not passed. The Highway Traffic Statute Law Amendment Act, which gave municipalities additional tools to collect defaulted traffic fines from drivers, and the Highway Traffic Amendment Act, which included provisions to enhance pedestrian, driver and cyclist safety. In addition, Bill 31 includes important new measures to deal with drugged driving, as well as stiffer penalties for distracted driving, which has become the #1 killer on Ontario's roads, as we hear from the OPP. So since I have limited time for debate today, I won't be able to speak to all of the provisions of the bill, but I did want to highlight a couple of aspects that are particularly significant for my community, and that is the cycling safety provisions, which were originally introduced by my NDP colleague, the member for Parkdale High Park, and municipal traffic fine collection. So there's great work going on in my community to promote cycling and encourage more Londoners to cycle. The Medway Working Group has been working hard on a plan to identify and address barriers to active transportation, including, of course, cycling. And earlier this month, the City of London launched its rapid transit initiative, Shift London, a plan that will also map safe cycling routes throughout the city. And in fact, this Friday, there's going to be a mapping party organized by London Cycle Link to engage the community in planning London's new bicycle routes. So, of course, provincial legislation to ensure the safety of cyclists is vital to support and strengthen and grow these local initiatives. The other part of the bill that's critical for London, as well as communities across the province, is the new tools for municipalities to collect unpaid fines. We heard during pre-budget hearings from the Mayor of London about the millions that are owed to the city in unpaid traffic fines. And certainly municipalities need these tools, and the bill is a good step to streamline the process. We do, on this side of the House, have some questions about how the bill will enable the collection of fines from out-of-province drivers and how it will enable the sharing of information across ministries. So I'm going to use the remainder of my time to focus on the section of Bill 31 that clarifies doctors' and optometrists' obligations regarding medical license suspensions. And my reason for focusing on this section of the Act is the increasing number of phone calls and emails I've been getting from constituents about unacceptably long wait times for people to get their driver's licenses reinstated after they've received a clean bill of health from their medical professional. This is a matter that is critical to my constituents in London West, especially those who rely on their vehicles for employment. So Bill 31 includes regulations to prescribe which medical professionals must support a medical condition and which medical conditions must be supported. So clearly, clarifying these responsibilities is a welcome improvement over the current situation, which is open-ended about responsibilities for reporting the medical conditions that may make it dangerous for a person to drive. My main concern, as I mentioned, is that the bill does not do anything to address the other issue related to medical license suspensions about the wait times once the medical condition has been resolved. So the ministry currently says that their target service standard is 4 weeks for a driver to get their license back after medical suspension. The ministry says that they hit this service standard 85 to 90% of the time. Now, I can't speak for the other members of this House and what's happening in the rest of the province, but I can tell you that in London West, the ministry is not even coming close to meeting that target. And I'd like to share with this House the stories of some of my constituents. whose jobs and ability to earn a living have been put directly at risk because they have been forced to wait months and months for the ministry to reissue their driver's licenses. So my first example is Dave Wilson, a transit driver who had a medical issue that resulted in his Class C commercial license being downgraded to a Class G. Dave was required to serve a waiting period while his medical condition was being treated. When his waiting period ended in October 2014, Dave contacted the ministry to ask what was required from the medical review section to get his license reinstated. He was told that he needed a letter from his doctor, so he promptly went to his doctor, got the letter, and faxed it to the ministry. 2 months later, Dave received a letter from the ministry saying that, in fact, he needed a full medical as well as many other forms to be completed by his doctor. Now, why did the ministry not give Dave that information the first time when he inquired in October what he needed to do? So Dave immediately faxed the medical reports that were required from his physician to the ministry, but it then took numerous inquiries from my office before he finally received a letter from the Ministry of Transportation giving him leave to reapply for his Class C commercial license. So, Speaker, it took more than 4 months for Dave to get the okay to begin the process of having his license reinstated. And over that period, Dave's employer became concerned about the length of time it was taking for the reinstatement of his license. Dave worried that he could lose his job. 4 months is a completely unacceptable length of time for someone to wait, especially when they are as diligent as Dave was in terms of contacting the ministry to find out what the next steps were in the process. My second example is Peter Hanford, owner of Hanford's Tire and Service located in London West. Peter experienced a medical issue in September of 2014, which resulted in his license getting a medical suspension. In November, Peter's physician gave him the green light. He submitted his health information to the ministry, and he was obviously anxious to get his license reinstated, but he made numerous attempts to contact the MTO, often was forced to wait in an answering machine queue of longer than an hour, and all he wanted to do was to find out why he had not heard back from the ministry about the status of his license. And my office also became involved with inquiring with the ministry about the status of Peter's case. So 2 months later, my office received a response from the ministry indicating that more medical information was required. And again, this is well beyond the 30-day ministry service standard response time. So we're now nearing the end of February. Remember that that this issue first started in September 2014, and Peter Hanford's situation has yet to be resolved. Peter has described the process of having his license reinstated as excruciating, and he says it has been impossible to get information about what is required from the MTO. And, Speaker, a third example, yet another example, is Steve Everett, who has also experienced long delays, along with the ministry misplacing his medical records while he's been dealing with the medical review section of Ministry of Transportation. Steve had a job offer and has come very close to losing out on his ability to get employment because of the ministry's delays and through no fault of his own. So these are just a few of the stories I've been hearing from my constituents. They highlight the fact that unacceptably long wait times at the MTO are jeopardizing people's ability to find and maintain employment. So certainly Bill 31 is an important piece of legislation. We're glad to see it move forward, but I am also concerned that it does not address the serious issue that I have raised about wait times at the ministry. The ministry's practice of conducting reviews on a first-come, first-served basis does not take into account the impact on people who depend on their vehicle for employment or basic mobility. So I look forward to a response from the Minister of Transportation about the concerns I've raised today. Thank you.